On February the 11th, 2021, Disney held its earnings call for the first quarter. Investors had lots of questions. There was a lot of talk about churn. That is, the tendency of people to end subscription services like Disney Plus once they've lost interest in content or the show that they've signed up for has finished its current season. Investors generally want to know what the company will be doing to keep customers interested. This ties in with the steps the company are taking in order to retain public goodwill. The public relations problem for Disney is that the public they are trying to relate to has fractured along political lines, and there is very little room in the public square for bipartisanship. In modern times, part of Disney's marketing handbook has been to tacitly bat for the left. The current climate puts Disney in a situation where it feels the need to double down on this position. This is the moral front of the corporation, and it is part of its relationship with the target audience. If anything is going to interfere with this, then investors will want to know about it. The day prior to the earnings call, Lucasfilm, subsidiary of Disney, announced that it had cut ties with actress and sportswoman Gina Carano, who is conservative and what's more outspoken. The controversy had played out over many months. It has its roots in Carano's refusal to adopt certain brands of current progressive culture, specifically retweeting and declaring solidarity with posts and messages under the banner of BLM, and the incorporation of gender pronouns into social media biographies. As the Twitter storm gathered around her public interactions, it turned out that she was not one for apologetics. And for Disney, the situation was moving beyond containment. As far back as during the promotion of The Mandalorian Season 2, Lucasfilm made the decision to exclude Carano from the campaign. Undoubtedly, she was already feeling the push and was probably starting to consider new career moves. Certainly, concessions to Disney's political narrative seem never to have been an option as far as she was concerned. Fast forward to this month, February the 9th, 2021. There then comes this allegedly camel-crippling tweet from Carano. Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them, simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone because of their political views? Q #Fire Gina Carano. She was drawing a comparison between early Nazi Germany and what she feels is the ghettoization of Republican speech. And for this, she drew accusations of grotesque hyperbole, accusations which I believe are justifiable. But there also followed accusations of anti-Semitism. I think you only have to read the content in order to see that it is clearly not what she's picturing here. All I can say is that if she does have a problem with Jews, she'd better get that under control if she's going to consolidate her new business relationship with Orthodox Jew Ben Shapiro. The following day, Wednesday the 10th of February, a spokesperson at Lucasfilm said in a statement that Carano is not currently employed by the company and it has no plans for her to be in the future. Fair enough. That is their prerogative. But then they chose to seal the deal with this delightful nugget of character assassination. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Cue exploding internet. So Gina has jumped ship to Ben Shapiro and his company The Daily Wire, who, it has been announced, will act as distributors for her own film project. And truly, I wish her every success. But what happens if she is really successful and other Republicans in Hollywood follow suit or are forced into that same path? Do you then have an entertainment industry divided ever more explicitly between red and blue studios, each camp feeling increasingly stubborn and vengeful? And the climate in America, where the relationship between entertainment culture and militant political identity looks set to become stronger than ever, is going to affect the weather in the UK and elsewhere. I leave you to speculate on what kind of culture that may open the door to.
I thought this was supposed to be about Star Wars.
Well, yes, and that's the problem. Because for so many people who are about to no longer be fans, this is what they think about. Not stories, not fun, not play, not pop culture icons, but the labor of having to dodge these behemoths of social engineering. Entities that aren't even driven by honest conviction. The Mandalorian was not a great show, but it was easy to be endeared to. After all the bitterness and social media stupidity that was born out of the epically wasteful and ill-conceived sequel trilogy, The Mandalorian was something that at last the vast majority of fans could shake hands on. It had some things that the fandom menace are not supposed to like. Diverse characters, multiple women kicking myriad ass. It had cuteness and stupid comedy, but they didn't care. They liked it. It also had things that the tweeting left aren't supposed to like either. It had an old-school, casually brutal male lead. It evoked the sensibilities of old Star Wars rather than new, and it was politically soft. But they didn't care. They liked it. I liked the stories that were coming out about Jon Favreau's set. I liked that he had a reputation for being attentive to his cast and not turning a blind eye to instances of abuse. By all accounts, he likes to keep things respectful and professional. I liked that it seemed to be a set where people of different political backgrounds would be accepted without a second thought, so long as they had a good work ethic and didn't do anything to harm the social dynamic within the workplace. I liked that kids were being shown a female character who was genuinely tough, genuinely body positive, committed to fighting evil, albeit in a way somewhat short on nuance, and most importantly, self-reliant. Not that this is new by any stretch, but the refreshing thing here is that it was never framed as anything new. You don't need to be told how to feel about it. It's just there, it's natural, the character's sex is incidental and no one cares about it. That's why this is so much more potent than this. The audience was never politically patronized by the show, and everyone was happy. Disney happy, fans happy, your mum happy. Throw in Luke Skywalker force-crushing zombie droids and wow, everyone extra happy. But since then, it has again become a case of one bad judgment call after another for Lucasfilm. A tapestry of which Caranogate is only one part. The veneer that separates our perception of the product from the apparently diseased process has been worn away. And now, when we think of that thing we used to love, all that we can see is a hulking, cynical, decrepit and disintegrating enterprise composed almost entirely of mistakes. So it's officially dead. What to do next? Well, how about make your own stuff? It's hard to cut the umbilicus with something as formative as Star Wars, but we have to move on. What I don't want to see is an influx of stories that are party political in nature. I don't want to see creative enclaves of Republicans or Democrats churning out base-friendly content. I want to see instances of the story being paramount, and a willingness to work with anyone who can get on board with that too. I want to see people giving more of a shit about artistic integrity and less of a shit about what kind of audience they end up attracting. And if you enjoy telling stories, then, whether you're paid for it or not, you are in the storytelling business. And there is so much more to the narrative arts than Star Wars, than Disney, so much more than even the entire global offer of consumer products. Those things only represent low Earth orbit. So, this year, you will see me do fiction. And I hope that I will be able to collaborate with others in doing fiction. We'll see. But in the meantime, may the Force be with you.